Hey Las Vegas, welcome back here to Vegas Realty Check, your local Las Vegas real estate news show and our monthly community spotlight. I am Trish Williams.
And I am Tiana Carroll. Welcome back, Vegas.
Yeah, and we have our returning guest, Mark Lister, property management, Lister, the Lister assister.
The rental lister.
The rental Lister assister. Yeah.
At Nevada Superior Property, Mark Lister.
That's right.
Yes, so we're going to be talking about the rental market today, but before we do that, let's get into what's going on in the residential real estate market.
Oh, yeah. Well, like every episode, we are going to start off with the numbers so you guys can gauge the temperature of the market that we are in. And today, we are getting close to that 5,000 mark in inventory.
I just want to say our numbers look crappy.
This week's numbers there's definitely showing that there's a change in the market. That's for sure. Because we're at 4,968 properties available, single family homes available on the market today.
Yeah, and when I see numbers like this, while I don't like the numbers, it also kind of makes me feel better, because when I feel like a slowdown in my business and things happening and everything's starts creeping down, I'm like, oh, what's going on? Is it me? Why do I always think it's me? But I always go with that. Is it me? Am I doing something wrong? And these numbers show that it's not me.
You. It is definitely not you. These numbers are speaking for themselves. If you tune in the show, if you've already shared, subscribed, or you're part of our community, then we cover these numbers every week, and we always talk about how when we get to that $6,000 home mark, then we're going to be in a balanced market. But it doesn't really feel balanced, does it?
It just feels slow. It just feels slow. There is not much activity going on. Everybody's like, maybe later, not now. And, is it the quiet before the storm?
I kind of think it is, especially because every headline this week was Feds are dropping rates in September. Rates are dropping. We're dropping rates.
We all know that's happening in September. So two things can happen when rates drop. If rates drop and there's no activity still, it's uh-oh, what's going on here? But they drop, and what we all think is going to happen is people are going to flood the market.
So much competition. I don't want to see us get into a market again where we have those overappraised values and those cash outs. It's hard enough for people to get into homes in this market, but to have to pay cash over value and be susceptible to all those cash buyers, that's going to be rough.
Yeah, it definitely will, especially in this market with all the changes happening and everything like that.
Yeah.
The cost for buyers can get can really get a lot higher if we have a highly competitive market.
Yeah, so that inventory spiked up, but our solds, what happened there? What's
down.
Going on with that?
410 sold.
Yeah, that's a slow week, man.
Yeah, it sure is. The price decreases are up a little bit.
662 of those bad boys this week.
Yep, and then those under contracts still down 539.
Down a hair. I like that. I like the under contract number more than I like that sold number.
True.
There's some more activity there, so that's cool. So those are all of the homes for sale. Now, Mark, you actually do property management, so you have a whole other set of numbers that you track.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear it's not just me.
You and Trish have the same syndrome. Is it me? What am I doing wrong?
What I do wrong? I'm not doing something right. There's something going on.
I was actually expecting the summertime where the numbers be a lot less, but they're actually not. Right now, it's on the market total. Everything you put on the market is 3,869 properties for rent. So you break that down to single-family houses, that's 2,383. These are numbers that we had in the wintertime, so you would think that it would be lower because of a lot more activity in the summertime, but it didn't work out that way this year.
Yeah, it's a weird year.
Condos and townhouses, 1,292. Now, here's an interesting fact. If you have a single-family home on the market for rent, if you allow pets, that brings inventory only down to 1,042. So it pays to have pets.
Yeah. It does pay to have pets. I remember you saying that on an episode before.
Yes.
That accepting pets is definitely a way to get buyers in there. I mean, leasers in there. But and people so many people have pets.
Well,
Las Vegas has gone to the dogs.
Indeed it has, and we're glad to be here for it because we all love animals.
I've noticed that in short terms. I have a short term rental, and I've noticed that just in like tracking the numbers there. Even if you allow pets, you get more bookings, and you're booking at a higher rate. So it does pay off to allow them, but they can be troublesome.
Well, they're like people. There's good pets and there's bad pets. I would like to think that my pets are just perfect little angels and would never destroy anything.
Well, and they probably are. It's the way you look at it. Now, great thing about us, we screened our tenants, and we can also screen pets. And then we can also decide whether we're going to take the pet or not.
Wait.
That doesn't fall under fair housing, so I discriminate on pets. So say, for instance, you have, if you have roommates and each one has a pet, I don't like those very much because it's not the family pet.
Right.
Now, if you have a family and they have a family pet, that's much better because that animal belongs to the family, and it's treated much, much different. And they treat the house much, much different. So I like those. I find those, you get the house back in probably perfect condition, okay? But it's when each roommate has a pet, that's where you're going to have, I found you have a lot of problems.
Oh,
So
that's
these
interesting.
pet screenings, you do background checks on them, so if
Right.
they have a
Absolutely.
criminal
Little-
record.
Little paw prints.
Believe it or not.
Let me run your paw prints.
You're 100% correct.
Is that real?
Yeah, it
Really?
has a paw score. So the highest score is 5 paws. Okay, the lowest score is 1 paw. Okay.
Wow.
Okay, so what's the rating system? I'm going to go home and rate my fur babies.
Well, if you have vaccinations, that's a rating. The breed is a rating. So if it's a dangerous breed, then that's going to be further down. If it's not a dangerous breed, like a French bulldog, that's going to be up on the higher end. If it has been trained and not any biting incidents, then you'll get the 5 paws.
Wow.
so is there a system or is this your own rating?
No, it's called Pet Screener.
Okay.
So we go to a system that the tenants pay that, and that they could, then we screen their pets. And that's even emotional support and service animals, because I'm not qualified to tell whether they have emotional support or service animal. So we put them through them, they charge $20, but if it's actually a genuine emotional support or service animal, then they get the money back, because you can't actually charge for that. But
Fair enough.
But you can't verify, because there's a lot of people out there that throw a vest on their dog and say it's a service dog.
Right.
That is not really a service dog.
That's 100% correct, and we
Yeah.
run across that all the time. Probably about 60% don't actually qualify as emotional support.
Wow.
I don't have the problem on service animals, but I have that on emotional support all the time because the public's not really trained on what makes a real service animal. What's the qualifying paperwork that they have to have?
Right.
So what I do is I can always kind of tell. So I say, well, listen, we can't put it on them. It stays on the market until till they tell us it's emotional support. Now, here's what you can do: is you can pay us the deposits, and then we can go ahead and move you in. And most of them do that. Now, if we do get the paperwork back and says it's emotional support, then we have to give the deposits back. We have to do that by law. And hardly ever do I have to do that, which means it never was emotional support.
Wow.
I beg to differ. As a pet owner, my animals are my escape and my emotional support. When I'm having a bad day, it is good to see a furry face.
I think I'm my dog's emotional support.
I think you are your dog's emotional support. Well, your dog just thinks he runs the world. Everybody is his emotional support, his financial support.
Apparently, you have the animal that doesn't get enough attention.
He thinks so.
Yeah,
He thinks so.
I run across that all the time.
When
Yeah.
he was a puppy and he'd be sitting down and people would walk past him, he would look at you like, hello, do you not see me sitting here? Where's my love and attention? I'd be like, you are not the center of the universe.
Yeah.
He thinks he is.
He's pretty convinced he is. So what you guys are seeing in rental inventory right now, Mark, is it like what we're seeing, like an increase in inventory? Are people starting to reduce rent prices as a result of that?
Oh, you have to.
Yeah.
Either that or it's just going to sell on the market and collect dust.
Yeah.
You have to. Well, there's a lot of different things we have to do to market the properties differently. Back in the days where you can take a few shots, a few photos and put on the MLS, that's gone.
Yeah.
You can't even do iPhone photos anymore. That doesn't work. You have to use professional photos to get it to rent out. You have to be a lot more aggressive, answer the phone whenever you possibly can, and make sure you get out and go show that property. Otherwise, it's just going to sit. And we have some new products. One of them is, so let's say, for instance, you have a $2,500 a month rental property.
Okay.
Now, it's a mistake if you make the deposit $2,500 because that can be construed as last month's rent.
That's what everybody thinks.
That's right.
Yeah.
So what happens is they don't pay it, now you got to take them to court, they complain to the judge. By the time you get them out, you're at the end of the month anyway, so they end up winning. So that didn't work. So we always make ours a little bit higher. So it'd be $2,600. So you're looking at $5,100 to get into a property. Okay, so we have a new product now that in lieu of paying a deposit to us, they actually pay a fee to a company and they cover the deposit for us. So now they can get in for $2,500. Makes it much more affordable.
The company covers the fee? How does that work?
The company gets paid a fee in order to cover the deposit. Okay. So if I charge off the deposit once they move out, then they get it from the tenant. So they cover that. They have us covered. So I put in for it. They send the money to us automatically.
So it's kind of like a credit card or a line of credit that the tenant has that
Yes.
of course they don't want to have to pay it, but if it comes that time, then they owe payments to that company.
That's right.
Oh,
that's how it works.
That's pretty amazing. That's a good quality because you can offer those move-in specials now.
That's right.
Yeah.
Hey, what's that fee?
It depends. Depends on how much it is, but it's very nominal. It's like 40, 50, 60 bucks.
So you could pay a company $60 and they could throw down your $2,600 deposit for you. Then
they hold on to it, and I get it from. If I charge, say, like $500-600 off their deposit, then I get it from them.
Yeah, and I'm sure the company does their due diligence as far as so at the end of a property management lease or whatever, and the landlord says $2,000 is due from this deposit. I'm sure the company is going to do their own research and say hey, show us why this $2,000 is due, right?
Actually, no.
Really?
I don't do that way because I didn't want to get into that because I don't need to be fighting with them as well as the tenants. Well, first of all, we do it a little bit differently. If you go look at reviews on any property management, you're going to see they stole my money. They took
always.
my deposit. That's right.
I don't even have to go look at reviews. I already knew that.
So we found a way years ago to get around that. We fell into it by accident, but what we do is we send it to them. Here's what we're going to charge. So it's $1,800. This is what we're going to charge you. Are there any disputes? So I find about 90%, no problem, send me the rest of my money, okay? Then you have the ones that are going to fight you tooth and nail. Okay, well now you know up front, so we could say, well, these are the reasons why, this is how we gave you the property, this is how we got it back, here's the parts that you violated, okay? And sometimes you get down to where it's only like $100, and they're going to fight you on that $100, so you just go to the owner.
Man.
Well, you go to the owner, do you really want to fight over this over $100? In most cases say no and let it go, because you don't want to go to court, you're not going to win there. And so that's how we do that, and we don't get those kind of reviews by doing it that way. Be very fair, so we can talk about it before it's etched in stone, and that works real well. So we do the same system, okay? Then once we have what we're going to charge, then we send it to them, and they just pay it. Now, what they do with us is we look us over and see how, if we're getting their deposit every single time, they're not going to approve us, okay?
Right.
So they see what we're actually charging each time, and if it's in with the norm, then they're fine with that.
So as a company, you have to qualify for the service as well.
Yes.
Yeah, that's fair. That's reasonable. Are you seeing any increase or decrease in owners or investors selling their properties, getting rid of them, or obtaining them?
Kind of both ways.
Yeah.
You know, we still have investors investing in our properties. You still get the ones that probably don't not everybody belongs in the rental market, so they decide to sell for many reasons. You get some that would rather sell than rent, so if they're in a position where they have to rent and they find they can sell it real fast, they'll do that.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's you know, like I said, not everybody is in it for is meant to be a landlord, and there's some that actually should probably sell, and they don't. You know.
One thing I tend to see a lot, you know, and it's very common. It's a very common concept. You know, if someone's house is on the market, it's not moving, we're, you know, doing price adjustments or we're doing some things, and they have the ability. Sometimes people will say, I'm just going to go ahead and rent it for a while until, you know, the market strengthens up a little bit more or something like that. And that seems to be a default backup plan for a lot of people. So have you seen any increase in that?
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah, people that have tried to sell their houses and decided to rent instead.
Yeah, it didn't sell, so now we're coming to you. You know, we're going to let the realtor go. Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah.
And then sometimes also happens is as soon as the realtor knows they're being let go, lo and behold, they find an offer.
You're like, hey, look, guys.
It's just like one of those things when realtors, it's just an unspoken law. When we go on vacation, all of a sudden everything goes into escrow. Every buyer's ready.
Every client's like, hey, I'm ready to buy now. Can I see this house tomorrow? And you're like, yeah, hi, I'm in Hawaii.
Yeah.
Nice try.
Yeah, and the same thing. As soon as they already set in, they sign that property management agreement, they're ready to put it on as a rental. It's like, whoa, we got an offer.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
And that's why I do appreciate working with you on some of these things, because we both understand, are pretty understanding in terms of things like that. So
Yeah.
I'm almost concerned what's best for the client.
Yeah.
Always.
I can get plenty of business. I don't have to steep the low means to get business.
Absolutely.
And we have actually in our management agreement, I believe highly in customer service, and that's reason why our owners should stick with us is customer service, not because we're in a contract. So there's a guarantee in our contract that says that for any reason you're not happy, you can get out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I offer very similar to my listings and now buyer contracts too. Is you know, I don't want to force anybody to work with me that doesn't want to.
We are not holding people hostage.
Yeah,
We want to help you. We want to be there for you. And if you do not want or need us, then be free.
Absolutely.
Enjoy.
That will make both of our lives miserable.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
Those are the facts.
it's a good way to do that, because there are people, no matter what we do, you can't make them happy. So it's best just to cut that relationship and let them go someplace else.
I do
Because
that in my
otherwise you're
regular
gonna-
life.
Yeah, you're going to spend so much time trying to make someone happy you can't make happy, and now you can't make happy the ones you can actually make happy.
Yeah.
So it makes sense to, you know, just to part company, and we wish them best. And, you know, if anything we can help you out in the future, let us know. But you know, wish you best for your property. So there's no hard feelings.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just business.
And,
Yeah.
and I'm sure it works the same for you as it does for me. That mindset in general helps. It does. It really, people, when they know that about you, that they're not obligated to use you, they're doing it because they want to.
Yes.
That's when they go and tell their friends about you. You have return business, where if you're
Yes.
going to force somebody to work with you, if they decide they don't want to, that is a one-time transaction, a bad review, and they're never working with you or considering working with you or telling anybody to work with you ever again.
But
You're
they'll be
done.
more than happy to tell people not to work with you.
Yes, absolutely. So I think the longevity of a business and having like a good referral base and things
Yeah.
like that, that's where it's all seeded from.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I really would like to see the industry and the property management side go up a lot higher. We seem to have a real bad reputation, so it's been my mission to turn that around, to have some place to go where it's they're going to be treated right, not just the owners but the tenants as well. You know, tenants are the goose that's laying the golden egg. We got to take care of them, because the longer they stay means that you don't have tenant turnover. Tenant turnover is $2,000 to $5,000, and that stays in our pocket the longer that tenant stays. Okay,
Yeah.
so we want to do that, make sure the tenant's happy and cooperate with us, they got a good property. And then we also have the ability to explain to the owners why we want to get these repairs. Let's get it done so the tenants are happy, they stay there longer, because you don't want to skip on, say, a $500 repair, and then they move 6 months later, now it's going to cost you $5,000. Math doesn't work out.
Yeah.
And
The
you got to
math
do the
isn't
repair
math.
anyways.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
One thing I
'cause
found
that's
is
the
houses don't fix themselves.
Yeah, you have to get the repair done for the next tenant, so you didn't save anything.
Yeah.
That and are you seeing? I know for the longest time, rental prices were just increasing year over year over year. But now that your inventory's coming up, you're not really
It's
having
flat,
those.
it's leveled out some. So in 2001, 2002, that went up. So we had like about a $400 a month increase overall, and that you're not doing that now. It's settled, and there's more inventory. There's a lot out there that don't know what they're doing, so they underprice them. So we're more of a quagmire. It's more flat than it is anything else.
Yeah.
So if we do any increases at all, they're $25, $50 increases, and a lot of them that we're not. Because if you increase it, they're going to move out. You've lost money.
Yeah, and there was a time where the landlords were increasing rent prices, but the tenants didn't really have any better options. It wasn't like, oh no, I'll go find a cheaper place somewhere else, because there was no such thing as a cheaper
Right.
price. So
And all of that ended up bringing on tons of conversations about having like rent caps in the valley and stuff.
yeah.
And they're still talking about that.
They're still talking about that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, there's a lot of controversy around that subject. It's definitely not good for investors. Definitely not good for, I believe, the overall growth of the real estate market. But people have their reservations on it. So
Well, one of the criticisms I have is when landlords and property management companies send out a letter and they'll say, "You're our best tenant. We're so happy with you." Next line is, "We're raising your rent by $100."
we love you so much. We want you to stay for another
Yeah.
year, and it'll only
So
cost
all
you
those
$100.
poodles just went out the door, and now they're really upset because they don't remember how great they think you are. They're upset about the $100 or $200 a month rent increase. So we don't do it that way. We actually do a house visit, look the house over, make sure not run a herd of cats out of the place. It looks good. Then we talk about lease renewal. We actually show rental comps, what the market is, and then let them know that, listen, we have to get some kind of increase because the owner has increases in taxes and insurance and pays for the repairs. So we need to try to get something. In most cases, we can do that. Some cases, we can't.
Yeah,
Okay.
I love that you're transparent about it, because
Yeah.
getting hit with a letter saying that we're going to raise your rent
So
is
impersonal.
rude, right?
Yeah.
And it feels almost like an attack, and you think, hey, I've been loyal and I've done everything. Why am I getting this? But you're right. There are changes, circumstances, taxes go up. You do need to compensate for it. And I think that it's nice that you do have that conversation and they're aware of it.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
Sometimes information is just all you need to make a transaction smooth.
absolutely, and I love that you bring the tenants in the conversation and make them feel important to the whole decision, the whole transaction, because that is so many times tenants just think of landlords as like, these people with endless deep pockets that can afford everything and is just sticking it to them with the with prices and everything like that. But explaining that the cost of everything is going up, and that usually is the reason for the increases.
Well, they think that they're not going to repair anything, but they want more money.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not a good relationship.
Yeah.
But keeping a well-maintained property, I mean, I even know on my investment properties, taxes have gone up over the last couple years, year over year. When you have an investment property, you don't have that tax cap. Tax cap in place, so the percentage of your property taxes goes up a lot higher than it does on your primary residence.
About 2% more.
Yeah, and then there's also the maintenance repairs since COVID. I mean, price of everything has like doubled as far as labor, maintenance, and AC units. Oh my gosh.
Hot water heaters.
Hot water heaters,
Yeah.
everything. I mean, the cost of those, it was it was a pretty reasonable cost. When you obtain a property, you take those into consideration
Right.
as a cost that may be coming, and you have, some people, most people, I hope, would keep a budget in mind of what it's going to cost to repair these certain items, but when that cost doubles, it becomes unexpected.
Well, here's what they do is they go to the home warranty, and the home warranty is going to take care of everything. But
Yeah, right.
the fact of the matter is it doesn't. We had one recently where the owner thinks he's going to get a free hot water heater for $75, okay, and it doesn't happen. They want $1,800, or well, actually in this case it was about $1,300, and but they wanted a month to be able to put it in. Well, when you have tenants, you can't do that.
No.
Okay.
No.
I have 72 hours to get it done. Okay, per Nevada law, so I can't wait around. So I had a plumber that could do it for $1,800, and we had to go that route. Now, there's some ways to get around that. What you can do is take that invoice and send it back to them because they're supposed to do that. It is insurance. They won't cover the whole thing, but you should get something out of it. Now, the way to do that is don't talk to the person that answers the phone. Okay? They have no ability to do any negotiation. You have to ask for a supervisor, and then if they don't cooperate, just say, okay, I'll cancel out, and then you'll walk. A lot of times they'll do the backflip, and okay, all right. Well,
Okay, we can magically make it happen now.
Don't put it that way, come on.
I had a home warranty claim recently on an AC that, in my opinion, should have completely been covered. It was ridiculous. Their resolution to it was ridiculous. I'll never use the company again. But it was a $10,000 AC replacement, and they paid me $1,300.
That's so harsh.
I was not happy, and it was on an investment property. It had always been, it had been operating really well over the years. They've done their repairs on it over the years. 30-year-old AC. It was on its last leg. Could not be done. It was hot outside. We obviously had to get it replaced. It had a good life. It had its run, but I could not believe that was the warranty company's resolution on that. I mean, I was expecting at least a meet in the middle. But even I, sometimes people are like, I'm going to call my realtor because they're going to fix this problem. I couldn't fix my own problem. So.
Yeah. I kind of have a love-hate relationship with home warranties. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe I should just keep my mouth shut, but I don't love them.
Yeah.
Well, you should see it on our end because we're dealing with them a lot more.
Oh, I bet.
And, so it's when a microwave goes out, you can't fix it. We had one to try to fix it.
Oh.
So they spend month after month after month trying to fix it. And meanwhile, that was an owner. The owner doesn't care because they think they're saving money. But now, if it's on their own property. But if you got an investment property, you got a tenant paying good rent for that place, they're not going to sit around. They want that microwave working or whatever appliance is supposed to be there.
Yeah.
They want that working. Yeah. So what happens is, in this case, he actually sold the property. But in other cases, they'll actually move out. It happens over and over and over. So it costs you more money to save money. So it makes sense just to fix it.
Just to fix it, yeah. And I feel like over the last couple of years, warranty companies, their service and what they provide and what they cover as a solution has gone down a lot from what we've seen before.
Yeah. A decade ago, it was a different story.
Yeah. Yeah, so.
Well, here's what you remember, too, is that you're not dealing with the best vendor that's out there. You're dealing with the lowest bidder. So a guy that says, okay, I'm going to get into the home maintenance business. Now, how do I get business? Oh, I'll go to home warranty.
Right.
Well, home warranty is not going to pay them anything, and they're not well experienced. So you're not getting the best vendor that's out there. You're getting the lowest bidder. So I've had them where where it would have cost $250 for a plumber, and they did $3,000 worth of damage.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
Well, knock on wood, I haven't had them do damage, but I've had them come out multiple times at $75 each, a service fee, and when they leave, I'm in the same position I was before. Like, okay, so now what? You just want me to replace it?
Yeah, and in my last few experiences with them, it was just like so frustrated with going round and round in circles that you just say, screw it, I'm going to go buy whatever that is and replace it.
Yeah, I'm a go buy and replace girl.
Yeah.
We find being very, very proactive will actually save owner money. So here's what I mean by that. We put an inspector in either once a year or twice a year. It's up to the owner. It costs them $100. It's not a home inspection, but it's actually a home inspector. So he's looking for plumbing, electrical, HVAC, and garage doors, okay? And they check all those things over for me and tell me what kind of problems that we have. So now we can get a vendor to take care of a few plumbing problems and maybe a few other little items all at once, okay? And what that does is, say for instance, an angle stop in your kitchen, okay? $20 item. Okay, if that thing goes bad, they can do $1,000 worth of damage. If the water starts leaking towards the wall, you don't see it. And that just happened to us, and it went underneath, under the flooring.
No.
And by the time we got to it, we knew about it. It was $8,500 bill. Plus, we had to pay tenants $1,500 because they ripped out their kitchen for a month, okay, till we get it all built back up. So it was a $10,000 expense. And we couldn't get the insurance to cover it because insurance looks at it as to be sudden and immediate. Since it was leaking, even though we couldn't catch it, couldn't see it, the tenants couldn't do that, then they said it wasn't sudden and immediate and wouldn't cover it. And I tried everything to get them to cover it. They wouldn't do it. Okay, they're getting a lot more picky on those claims as well.
Oh, yeah.
So the owner had to do it. Now, the owner has been with us for a while, and he had the inspections, and then when we changed management agreements, he didn't mark it off. He didn't want it. And so $100 versus $10,000, that was the difference.
Yeah.
So I said, you got to go back to those inspections. That's how we can do our job more effectively and catch these little problems.
Yeah,
okay?
and I love that. I think that any renter, because you never really know if somebody's going to have eyes on your investment for you.
You don't.
So I think that at the renewal of a lease, that a home inspector should come in and just make sure that everything's good. And that's good not only for the landlord, but for the tenant. Because if there are things that are going wrong, they're protecting their deposit and they're living in a house that is more mechanically sound.
We do it a little bit different. We actually put them in probably about 6 months into the lease. Okay, so they're just there to inspect those items. There's a whole laundry list of things that they do for us that they inspect, but they're not really there to inspect like holes and things like that. They may bring it up to us, but that's not what they're there for. Well, 90 days prior to lease end, we bring someone in to check for that, you know. If we find out that they're not taking good care of it, we'll come and check it out sooner. But we find 90 days works just fine. So we're there to look at the condition, make sure don't have a bunch of pets there. And if they're all taking good care of the house, then we take the next step for lease renewal. But the inspector, his main job is to catch that small problem before it becomes a big problem.
Agreed.
And that can be really, really expensive. Hot water heaters. So if hot water heater is, if you got 8 years into it, it's probably time to start looking at replacing it. Now, many of us, well, we'll just wait till it leaks. Okay, but it leaks, it could leak back into the house and it cause you far more damage. You know, you have the hot water heater plus maybe $2,000 in water remediation, or even more, depending on when we find it.
Right.
Yeah, it's definitely better to stay ahead of it and replace it ahead of time.
Be proactive and get them replaced, you know, in the 8-9 year range. You know, the plumber can advise what it needs to, but they're going to tell you with the hard water that we have out here, that they don't last very long.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. They do not last that long. About 6 to 8 years really is their lifespan. Yeah. Well, Mark, you're such a plethora of information, so thank you. If people are interested in contacting you to get their home managed for property management, how do they reach you?
My cell phone's with me all the time, so it's 702-278-4781. Email is rentallister@gmail.com. That's with 2 L's.
Rental lister.
That's right.
All right. Yes. And thank you so much for being on the show, Tiana.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you. And Tiana, if someone's looking to purchase a house, has questions on buying, on
all
anything
of that good
like
stuff.
that.
Want to talk real estate? Just give me a call. Shoot me a text, 702-379-9948.
Okay, great.
And Trish, if they want to get a hold of you, how do they get a hold of you?
702-308-2878. If you guys are watching our show, please like, share, subscribe, follow us at at realtycheck.vegas. That's our link tree. You can connect with us everywhere or anywhere you want to.
Yep,
right
send
from that.
listener questions for
Yep.
our next episode.
Yep, right from that site. So go check it out, and we will see you guys next week.
All right, have a good week, Vegas. Bye.
Bye.